Well, here I am again. It feels like a very long time. There is a video in the can that you should be getting pretty soon. Well, yeah. Things are going pretty nice. I had a while where I was really not feeling very good, but, I'm feeling pretty darn good now. I'm on a tire swing, well, kind of, like, netted thing. It's always been here, but, I just went here today. We got my bike fixed. I got this bike last summer. We found it on this empty lot. Well, not empty lot. A lot of this, like, volunteer person who just had tons of old bikes. I think they had this one inside, though. That's what my dad remembers. And so picked it out. It was in pretty good shape compared to everything else. It's handmade, and from the 80s or so. And they even brought it down to Vancouver. They even brought it down to the city for us, which was very nice of them. And totally for free. And so we got quite the bargain because it needed some work done, which we just got done, and just took the bike back today from the repair place, and it was about like $300. But I mean there's a tiny bit of stuff that needs to be done still. The seat's not amazing. It's fine though, not the most comfy. But yeah, it's good. I can't wait to use it. It's been pretty hot around here. I think it's about 27 Celsius, of course. And yeah, but under the trees here, it's pretty nice. There are some parks around here where, you know, when it was the heat dome. Well, that might give away exactly where I am. But when it was super hot last summer, there was this, well, you could go into the parks and like you get beneath the trees and it's like a completely different weather almost. It's very warm. Well, like humid of course, but it's not like dry and hot. It's kind of humid, not very. Yeah. I got this, so a while ago, I decided to, I was getting kind of upset with myself. Well, that's a hard way to put it, but good. Just checking it's recording. But I thought, well, you know, I should watch less YouTube and do less of this and less of that. So I decided to, like, cut out a lot of the, like, you know, not totally stop being on my phone or everything, but get as close to that as I could. So I went to the library and got some books and stuff. And, a few CDs probably. And then, after a few days it didn't really work and I just began getting upset with myself because I don't really like setting kind of expectations like that. Like some expectations, of course, but like one's to do with external things. But when it's purely internal, I think it's like a weird way to go about it. I don't know. So I didn't do it very well, and then I got like depressed for a few days. First, like full being depressed since I haven't really been fully depressed for like a full day. I've had some phases where like in the evenings or whatever for a number of weeks on end. But right before the pandemic actually. So like January, February 2020 would be the last time. But, you know, got through it. Here I am. And, yeah. Anyway, one of the books I got was this book on mindfulness. An illustrated guide by, I think his name was Mike. Hard to remember. I just returned it a few days ago. And it was awesome. And so now I'm on mindfulness. It's great. like when you're just doing whatever and you suddenly feel your fingers touching your palm, and it just kind of like puts you back on earth, you know? It's like, it's a lot of things, and I recommend it to everybody. I haven't really like actually recommended anyone the book specifically, but because like I've done that thing before, you know, where it's like, oh, you're like, hey, well, it's kind of just like, you know, a bit of an ego thing or whatever, where it's like, hey, I'm like recommending this to you because I really liked it or whatever. Well, that makes it sound fine. I don't know, but I haven't really recommended it to everyone because I feel it's kind of like a personal thing you need to do, you know, where it's like on your own time. Yeah, it's nice. Nice weather. I'm off to the island again, where my friend lives. And maybe we'll shoot another video, we'll see what happens. You haven't seen the one we've shot yet, but it's in the can. Yeah. Yeah. So, things are good. Things are good. Just, you know, listening to music. Jiving. I'm gonna get a haircut. Bestie's gonna give me one. And I need it. I'm getting kind of tired of my really long hair because I do anything and it gets in my face. And it doesn't all, like, I put it behind my ears, like, all the time, but it doesn't stay there. So I'm always, like, tasting my hair because it gets in my mouth and stuff. And so much comes out. I had a shower today. Goodness gracious. The plug on our shower, it broke a while ago. It's one of those ones where, you know, like, you twist it, and yeah, it's not like the rubber caps on a chain. But it broke, and so we've just got an open hole, but since none of us really take baths, I don't see why every shower isn't like that. I kind of prefer the rubber cap one, right? Because it's so much less complicated. Like, you take it off, and then, like, it's right there, and you can, like, here, you don't need to touch anything. You could do, like, a game of Operation to get the hairs out from the shower drain. Like, it's no fuss whatsoever. You don't have to unscrew anything or anything like that. Yeah. Yeah. Ooh, I'm going to see The War on Drugs, a band I love, and I recommend them. Although, you know, do what you want. In a few weeks, which I did not believe they'd be coming anywhere near where I live. But turns out they are. Pacific Northwest. So, yeah, it's... Why does it say west? Like, it's the Pacific North. The North Pacific. But, like, if it's west... Well, really, it's the Pacific Northeast because it's on the east side of the Pacific. I guess west is just for the US. And whatever. Doesn't make much sense, I don't think. But yeah. Yeah. It's good, it's good. No, I won't go on that story. Yeah, but Bestie, my only real other friend at the moment. There are lots of friends from high school, but I don't know, you know, you're kind of like in a building. It was the biggest school in the province, I think. But, it's still like hard. to find people. Like I ended up. I was first with the group of friends that moved up from elementary with me, and then I ended up in grade 9, getting really bored of that because it was video games, video games, video games. So I moved with some different friends, but you know, it's still not. I don't know. I only really have much to do with one of them anymore, who's now my best friend. So. What do you know? Who would have ever imagined the two of us would have clicked more than anyone else? But hey, it's what's beneath the surface. God, that was condescending. Yeah. So, what was I gonna say about that? I don't know. I guess I could watch the video back, because I am recording this, but... What bother? There. Is that a good angle? Let me check. Hello. Yeah, it's recording. It's like a long time later. Less than 2 weeks, I think. But maybe about 1.5 since I filmed that part. And I remember I had no clue what I was talking about, but I remember that there were lots of people around it, and I didn't want to, like, I don't know, I've got a bit of a stigma with it, I guess. I didn't want to film with strangers around. I don't want to film when strangers are around, and a guy just ran by, so I'll edit this, and you won't see me turn the camera down to my side and stuff. It's weird, but, oh, there's a cat. Meow. Hello, cat. How are you? Oh, well. Bye-bye. Cinematic. Oh, fuck, what's in my eye? So yeah, as you can see, I've got a haircut and stuff. Was I wearing my red shirt? I don't know. I've only got one, really. I might have been. I've worn it lately. But I'm wearing this one today with the weird pocket. I don't know if the angle is correct, but I should stop talking about the filming. I've felt very relaxed today. Like it's, today's a very nice day. It's been very sunny, but it's not crazy dry because it rained a lot before it began. It's not raining anymore. Like it rained quite into early summer. But, yeah. So I decided I should film the rest of the video, or just another video that will attach together with nothing relating to it. Because I don't like unfinished business. But, yeah. It's, I'm very relaxed today. I haven't listened to that much music. I listened to, well, I guess that much music is a lot more for some people than it is for me. But this morning I listened to Child's Play by Alice Phoebe Lou after I had a shower. Which, I don't listen to that much new music, which is kind of bad because I love new stuff. I love it, but I just listen to old stuff more. And so this album, I found it a long time ago when my friend sent me her hit non-album single Witches from 2020. And I listened to this album once or twice and bought it. And it's recorded in Vancouver, where I currently, but will not soon be living. And I'm not much of a lyrics person. Well, I am. It depends on... I know, but I've really got to focus. There was a playground right here just a few weeks ago. But they tore it down because there was a huge hole in the slide. It was very unsafe. But, yeah, so I listened to that album this morning. I don't feel disassociated, but I'm very calm and trying to be mindful and stuff. And yeah. So I thought I'd try and really pay attention to the lyrics. I've listened to them a ton of times. Well, not a ton, but a bunch of times. One sec. Across the road and a bunch of people around. Telling. I'm walking right into the sun and on a nice field, and I'm one of those people, that sneeze when the sun gets in your eyes or whatever. So I can't not squint, or I just sneeze like. See? I can't do it. And that wasn't even like not squinting really hard. Maybe I've just got big eyes. But yeah, I love the album Child's Play. The album that came out basically a year beforehand. Because I think it was finished in September. But it took like half a year to get released. Is Glow, which I like. But it's not as... Like Child's Play for me, it's perfect. And it only became more perfect today. When I really paid attention to it. Look at this nice field. But you can tell they water it. There's a patch of, there are all these invasive plants out here. And you see that kind of flat tree there, that's a patch. Oh, there are two of them now. Well, yeah, a patch of Japanese knotweed, which is one of the two, well, I guess ivy also. There are a lot of invasive things. Because, nature's gradually getting disturbed, which used to really upset me, like I couldn't deal with it. Back last fall and stuff, but I'm not doing many walks anymore. Sadly, or long ones anyway. This can't be that long one because it's like 5 o'clock already. And I've got a bunch of dishes to do. But, yeah, so, Child's Play. Glow. Glow is good, but it's a lot, like, quieter and I don't want to say more personal, but it's a lot more... Well, I should probably give it another chance, but it didn't click with me. Like, it doesn't have... It's got, like, one or well, I don't know anything. They're, in a lot of ways, they're quite similar. Definitely two halves of a whole, along with everything else she's done since the pandemic started. But, which would be those, and Strong Boy, or at least some of the Strong Boy songs, and her live album, and, well, it's 2019, but whatever, you know. And Touch, that's the other single, after Witches, but, God, I'm a rambling person. Which way should I go? There are two ways. There's that way, which I like, and this way it's kind of steep and long, but I haven't taken it in a while. I'll go this way. This used to be a big dump back in the 80s or something, but now it's a huge park. But as you can see, this is the blackberries. They're from the Himalayas, or that's what they're called anyway. But they're literally everywhere and they kill everything. And they're really brambly, which isn't nice. But, that's life, I guess. Ooh, here's somebody. So, it's, yeah, all the songs. Like, I listened to some, like, I focused on some of the lyrics before, like, Underworld. Honestly, why do I care about what these people think? I don't know, it doesn't make any sense. I should work on that. But, here it gets all shadowy up ahead. Let's see. Focus, focus, hocus pocus. Yeah. And yeah, I focused on the lyrics like Underworld and Child's Play, which is my favorite song to dance to, I think, out of almost any song. That's been my favorite for a long time, but it only gets better. And, so I finally focused on all the songs, the down-tempo ones, like, really listened to the lyrics, which is, she's not always singing in, like, a catchy way or a super clear way. Just kind of like, talking like this, kind of like mumbly, but not really mumbly. But, so I focused on it. Every song is like a relatable sort of experience, but I kind of feel like, especially for me, even though a lot of the things I haven't done yet, like, I like taking walks, especially, well, not especially, but ones when it's the evening are nice too. And there's one about taking a walk past midnight and wondering if you should keep the experience to yourself and call your lover and some other stuff. And yeah, you know, like, that's for me, and it's recorded where I'm from, and it came out at a wonderful time. Well, not for me, but I found out about it later. And it's like, you know, it's like up-tempo. A lot of the stuff is like a bit reminiscent of the music I am based in, which is, you know, 60s stuff. Like, it's got synths and it's a bit Child's Play, it's a bit psychedelic, and the lyrics are wonderful, but they're not like, you know, it's not like All Along the Watchtower where you have to like understand specific wordings in the Bible to have much of any idea what the song is talking about. It's pretty plain. I mean, you know, there's deeper stuff. It's just like everything in normal life is deep, you know. Like how you, like, it's not mysterious, but it is. And like, even though I don't know her, like, I'm a bit weird in that I've never really had, never been, like, upset. I don't really care about celebrities, you know. Like, I never have. Partly to do with my asexuality. But it's, like, I've never, like, had a celebrity crush. Definitely not. Well, kind of one. I kind of had one in 2020. But, I don't know, you know. But it's, like, what I guess I'm trying to say is I'm not really one to form parasocial relationships. Like, even with channels where I've watched them on YouTube, where, well, I just unsubscribed from, like, a bunch of the last few channels I watch. I've only got a few things left. Less than, maybe about 7. Because I'm not really watching much YouTube anymore. Like, I think I kind of, you know, manifested that because I you know, I would try and be like, oh, this is like, I don't want to, like, watch YouTube all the time. So, I'll hold myself back from watching it, so I won't watch it. But it's kind of like, you know, let's say you have a friend you don't want to see anymore. If you just say, I don't want to see you anymore, I don't want to be friends with you. It's like, that's horrible. They'd be so sad. But if you just, like, gradually, you know, start doing other things and break it off, and stop, like, putting, well, I don't know, then it's a lot better, you know? Guess which Keelan Moncrief video I got that from. And yeah, so it's like what I always say. Like, look, it's literally everywhere. It kills absolutely everything. But I've, you know, just gotta take it. I'm glad I'm moving away. But, and apparently it's been here for a long time. Like, it's not a new thing from the past 20 years. It's like old people grew up with it. I know that because I was at a social gathering kind of thing in the housing complex I live in. Which I haven't done anything like that for a long time. Really. But it was like this old lady's, like, birthday, ending in a 0, but 80 or 90. A bunch of people. This is an issue. But yeah, I was with a bunch of, it was a woman's old birthday, and so they had, like, a tarp up, and her family, I came over to help her because I guess she's getting more immobile. And she had, like, lots of food and a bunch of neighbors over. Because there haven't been any of those types of things in a long time. I didn't even recognize most of the people there. I don't think my parents did either. But, you know. And then one of them said that they ate blackberries and, like, had to deal with them when they were kids, so, you know, it's been around. Anyway, back to Child's Play. Each song is like a different emotion. Well, no. Each song is like a specific experience, like, that is super universal. I mean, like, you know, there are little things like taking, like, there's one with, like, taking a candlelit bath with the person you love, which is, you know, a thing I haven't done because I've never really been with anyone. Also to do with my asexuality, I'm sure. But I'm not a romantic, but I am, you know, it's just, I'm not too inclined. See, there's a person there, and I didn't bother turning off the camera, because, like, what do I care? I'm nasty. Look, it's all here. Not the trees, but everything else. That entire hillside, you can't really, well, you can, I don't know. But it's all just brambles, brambles, brambles. I kind of hate real estate, because, you know, in Vancouver it's all like fucked. It's all fucked. And so you see all, and apparently, no, child's play. So I focused on every song, and then when I finished eating my breakfast, at around like 1 o'clock, I woke up earlier. Not that it's a bad thing to wake up that late, but I had a shower and stuff. I did stuff beforehand. I woke up, it's like 10 something probably. And then I lay in bed with my eyes closed and the speaker right behind my head and just really focused on it. And like, really like letting the lyrics like enter my mind and touch them, you know? You really like feel and recollect things and, you know, twirl around in space and time. Whatever that means. But, I did that. And so each one is like a different thing. And then, so it's like a bunch of songs, and there's Shake, where it's like shake it off, take a break. And it goes back to the, like, probably the hardest song. Well, the only like really negative one, which is like thinking if everything's like a show and fake. But it's not like, you know, I haven't watched what is it, Inside, the Bo Burnham thing. Burnham. John Burnham. Bunch of people. No. Like even now the lyrics are still running through my head. And her singing is beautiful and a bit different. And lots of stairs, so sorry about the, you know, keep it as steady as I can, not that I've been focusing on that while I've been walking really. But she's beautiful and her singing is amazing. Like, you know, it's not Elvis, but it's not trying to be. She's got her own style, as far as I know. But I think between the two artists, oh, this is gonna be tough. It's very overgrown, and I'm wearing shorts, so brambles beware. No, I can't do this. I'm going back up these stairs. Use the camera to hide the sun, but it's something else. And then, so to top it all off, the very last song, the like 7-something minute Child's Play title track, which the song I love to dance to, my favorite song to dance to. It's then the lyrics are like, it's It's child's play, honey. Just shake it all up. Make it feel like we're four. Whatever. I won't try, but like, the gist of it is like everything's okay. You feel what you feel, and that's life, and everything is part of the experience. And it touched me so much. Like, I've never had a reaction that incredible to a song, I don't think. Like, there's nothing particularly sad on my mind. I feel like kind of scary things with the future. But I'm in a pretty good headspace. You know. As good as... peaceful is good. I just cried. I didn't really begin sobbing, but like, you know, the tears just kept running down my face for minutes and minutes. And then because often like I'll well up a little bit. They won't go down my face. It like usually takes quite a bit for that. But you know, we're getting to a busy road. They just built this huge church parkade thing. Like, it's like brand new. They're building it for a long time. The huge crane up. It's gonna get loud. So anyhow, at the end of the song, all the synths and stuff, or whatever they are, they're shimmering. I've always noticed. But this time it felt like they conjured up such an image of like little red lights, which are like our souls or whatever, our feelings, our emotions. Ooh, there's a guy there. Oh, he's government, I think. And they were dancing above the clouds, and then at the very end it does like a bit of a thing like in Pink Floyd's Echoes, and it sounds like it just goes up and up and up and up and away. Okay, bye-bye. This part is a bit weird because it's this huge, like it's a floodplain, but because there's money to be made, companies decided, oh, let's build some massive like housing on here. So it's like a huge construction area, but they built these, and it's cool because like I've kind of been here for like a lot of the stuff that they've been doing, like in 2020 or something. Like this was just like, I don't know, a bit of empty land or maybe fenced off. But then they made it like a nice little park with like concrete pavement, which isn't amazing. But it's, you know, it's lots of plants and stuff. It's a nice little green area. And that's always nice, you know? There's a train line here, which you know, occasionally hear a horn honking or whatever. But only one single time have I ever seen an actual train come along, and it's not worth it. Like, the thing was going so slowly and honking at every, like, road crossing, because, like, it's in the middle of, you know, a residential district, or whatever it is. So, it's just weird and surreal seeing a massive, like, there's only, like, an engine and one or two other things, but it was still crazy. Like, these just buildings. And there's another section of the park here, or maybe a separate park, it's hard to tell. Haven't really been in this one yet. What are they building? There's this big pond. Well, area that they were like building in, but then they stopped. Hey, it looks like a little hockey area. That's nice. And there are these cool benches. Like, look at them, they're like concrete squares. Well, like, things. Jesse has, they're constantly like upgrading their house because they only like got it a little while ago and had to do a ton of renovating. Are they nice to sit at? Let's see. They are nice. I like this. I like this. And the flowers are nice, but what do you know, blackberry? Already. Can't keep it out. And they finished this road here a while ago. It's just getting totally overgrown now. But like it was totally finished and lovely, and like the grass was, it looked like ready to be used, but then they just stopped. And they didn't continue it anywhere, and they just blocked it off. And it looks like it's just getting decrepit. But it's so weird, this part. Like, they built a bit of like gravel pathway here. There's another pathway over there that just goes down, and there's nothing connecting this one. There's another way at the other end. But I haven't seen this before. I haven't been here in a little while. And it looks like they've extended it a lot from this empty lot that was so full of water it was like a swimming pool or two. And there were crows taking dips. It's interesting seeing these places evolve. You know, like when it's nature like destroying itself, like with the plants, I find it deeply unpleasant. But it's it's less obnoxious. It's like this building's finished now. Like I don't think that building was finished the last time I was here. Well, you can't really see it, but you know, like crows galore. They're everywhere. I'm at the river now. A nice big river. I've never swum in it, but I've walked along it a lot of times. There's someone here. And dogs and more people. But it's, yeah, there's at least one sunken boat. You can like see half of it poking out of the water in a spot somewhere along here. But, our dog's nice. I don't know if I'm more of a dog or a cat person, but I've seen lots of, I've gone into a bit of a Borzoi dog, you know, the Russian ones that look lanky and weird, on Instagram, and I think like if I'm an animal, I'm a Borzoi. They're perfectly made. And when I get a dog, which I hope to someday, but, you know, when I'm an adult, I guess, I'll get one of those, I think. Look, it's buildings, buildings, buildings. It's, otherworldly, that we're, like, making the planet bigger. And the park's pretty big, too, see? It's pretty tall, it's on a hill. And I kind of live like at the top of this big ridge, or around the top. But this is at the bottom in the floodplain. So, well, they built a bit of a dike, but you know. And they had a big fence up for a long time in 2020. And so this is what you had to walk along for a lot of it. This like little area that they had sandbags all over. And the fence was, I'd be walking behind the fence now. But then it opens up into this big area. There used to be lots of like refineries or, I don't know, they store logs here. Let's see. Because, you know, lumber's a big thing in BC. I had a grandfather who was a lumber. He had a logging truck for a long time. Not a great guy, apparently. But there are all these like weird shipyard things on the other side. It's a lot less rich on the other side, it seems. There's this nice ring road that you can follow along. And then right under the flight path too. Like, I go all the way to this train bridge. And right around there, you're under the flight path. So at least once everything went dark for a second, and it was because that was the shadow of the airplane. How often does the shadow of the airplane, oh, the sun must be in your eye, land on top of you? Speedboats are kind of bad because they really, they're bad for the shoreline. At least on like lakes. I don't know about moving rivers or anything, but I think they're just like indulgent, you know. If there's anything wrong with indulgent, but you know, having like, but then they are fun. I don't know, like there are remnants of like the buildings and like logging things everywhere. Like there's a bunch of concrete. They didn't just come here naturally. Oh look, a little dog. There's weird sounds coming out of the bush, and there's a guy shirtless walking out of it. Is that a pipe? No, that's logs. But like, look, the waves, like, that's not good for the shoreline at all. Well, like, here it's just rocks, but, you know. Oh, they're making murals! Look at that! That's great. There were some, like, boring things here before. Whoa, did they get rid of a ton of the weeds, too? It might be somewhere else, but there were so many weeds. And, you know, the invasive things. I don't think it's here, though. It might be. But things look healthier here. Murals. There were some here before. I said thank you to everyone painting them. It's apparently like one of their ideas, and then the other ones are just helping. But like these are First Nation style. That's nice. Ooh, there's a dog. Like look, these like metal things, and like there's signs of it everywhere. It's weird. And this section is like overgrown totally. And there's this really old crane and stuff on it. Like look, that big building over there. Maybe you can see it at some point when I get farther along. I don't know how far I'm planning to go, but it's got a huge like 3-letter massive graffiti on it. Wait, I think it used to have more graffiti. They might have like taken a bunch off. I don't know. But like those little rooms at the top, like those are windows. I wonder what it's like up there, you know? They've got this super old crane that's in like 2 halves. And, yeah, it's weird. They're doing some stuff with it, but maybe it belongs to like the company that's making all the towers. Maybe it doesn't, I don't know what's happening. But yeah, the fuck. The touched me so much. I just cried. And sent voice memos about it to my best and pretty much only friend. Like I think like sometimes I get a bit lonely, like, you know, having nothing social to do. Well, okay, I've got a few friends. I've got them who are my best friend, and I've got this one guy I've known since I was a few months old, and he was even younger. That I do stuff with occasionally, but like, you know, it's a guy friendship. So there's no emotional closeness or anything. But it's just, you know, we enjoy doing a bit of stuff together. We usually go and watch movies, or we used to go swimming. Those are the main things. But them, some people on Instagram, and I guess the people I'm in Scouts with, but I don't do stuff with them too. And then there's like this thing too. It's like a bit of a wall? I don't know. And I think eagles like that tree, or maybe a different tree. But yeah. This will be some crazy editing I'll have to do. I'll try and do it today. I don't have much else planned. I've got some chores to do, but one of them was to go to the library and pick up some CDs. But they're closed on Mondays, so... but I only realized that a little while ago when Mom told me. But, well, you know, I knew it beforehand, but whatever. There's like a detour you can take. It's kind of weird and long. Like, it goes straight for a while. Or there's that little bit, but... I'll go this way. Because why not? So... yeah, that's sort of the highlight of today. I've never had a reaction. I'm just restarting myself to music like that, but the album's just so amazing. I thoroughly recommend it. And Alice Fibilou in general. She does these shows in parks occasionally, and my uncle went to one or two of them, who lives there. We're pretty good friends. And he got that album by her signed. And I think he wants to visit me when I'm at university. And so I presume he'll bring it, because I don't think he's mailed it. Maybe he has. Whoa, it's open! You can like see inside. Crazy. Like, it's all decrepit, see? Like, the metal's just like waving about. But it's kind of like steampunk, isn't it? Like, those lights are covered in cloth. Like, that's cool. Oh, I think they got rid of weeds or something. Yeah, it looks like they did. Like, see, it's like a bunch of huge letters. But like, it's just a massive empty space where they've got a bit of stuff. So here. Like, it's, NWK, I think? Whatever that means. It's like a gang sign. Wouldn't that be cookie? And there's this like pole over here where you can like climb up way to the top. It's strange. It's not like a telephone pole. I don't really know what it's about. But that's what it is. And so here I'll zoom out. And there's like a little river here. I'm trying not to dox myself, but I hope that not talking about it will prevent you from doing that. But, yeah. There's a runner. And look at the sunlight on the grass. I need to zoom out more. There you go. Camera's got pretty good zoom. Oh, there's some people. So I was really touched by it. Tugboat. Oh. So, yeah. It was incredible. Like, look, the brambles are literally reaching, like, higher than I can be. Maybe 3 of me high. Little bird! Look at that! Oh, it's totally, okay. Stupid focusing. You couldn't see it at all, could you? Oh well. That's what it is. Oh, is there someone else painting here? I think so. Or no, they just have a dog. Maybe they're sniffing. But yeah, I guess I should talk about something else. Look, this tree is so close to the water. It's lovely. Focus, whatever. Things are nice. I think with photography, like I used to take so many photos. I still kind of do. Like if I've got my camera on me, and I've got it out, I just, kind of take them left and right, but it's still less than it used to be. It's less like dun 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 dun. And I think that's kind of good. Like I went to a concert by the War on Drugs a few days ago, and it was great. But there were so many people. They're probably my second favorite band that's in their prime, after Alice Phoebe Lou / Strong Boy, and but like people were like in like the front. It was general admission, and so like I went right to the front, and there were people there, and like I went to a Beach Boys concert, my first like kind of like real concert, but you know it wasn't amazing by any means, and I just like filmed most of the thing, but that was years ago, and my mind has totally changed. Like, I was there to experience it. Like, I didn't take any photos of them. I took maybe like 1 or 2 photos of the other act from really far away on my phone. But, like, I'm there to experience the music. Like, when you're recording it, it's like you've got a shitty version of a live album. You know? And like, when a live album is there, like, you aren't experiencing it. Like, they're playing to me and to the other people there, and you're trying to just like capture it, and then also like capture it in like a bad way. Like, I should have shut the camera off there, but I didn't. We're in like an office district now, where one of my friends does, at least used to work, and because I didn't want to go to my mum's office on the take your kid to work day in grade 9. Oh, there's a guy by the river. I went with him and his son, who we kind of walked by their house a while ago. But, yeah, I just think it's like a waste of time. Not so much because of like the recording bit, but like, they're playing for you. And are you going to be like staring at your phone the whole time? Or part of the time, or any of the time? Or are you going to try and like experience what they're like giving their all for? Like, you'll never get that chance again to have them playing exactly like that. Like, they'll be able to do, they might never tour again. Or they might get injured, or they might just play new songs, or whatever. But, I don't know, it just irks me. It's like being on your phone when you're in conversation with someone, kind of. Which I think is very rude. But I'll try and be nice about it. Nicer than I have been. But yeah, that festival, it was, I haven't been, okay, I think that was the second music festival I've been to, but the first one, I was just tagging along to with some relatives in England. Like, I didn't know any of the groups. I didn't know what was going on. This was like my first actual festival. And, God, the hold alcohol has on society. Like, when I was working at a ski in the winter, it was like, you know, drinking was top 5 things in life for the people I lived with. And, you know, Bud Light's fine. White Claws are good, even though they judged the fuck out of me for it. They judged me the fuck. They're super judgmental people, and like, to a huge fault. Like, I'm too judgmental, but, you know, I recognize it, and I try not to let it, you know, to let it rear its head as best I can. But it's horrid. But I won't go into depth about that. But, it was like, for people in their 20s and 30s and like every age, like when the second to last act, penultimate act, left the stage and there was a 45-minute break. My brother and I waited in line at the mac and cheese stand, which were like, I was finishing my food maybe like 20 minutes into the War on Drugs set, because the line took so long. But, God, they all went for the beer line. And it's just like, I don't know, it doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense. Like, if I'm gonna enjoy music, I'm gonna be high for it, but does being drunk enhance music? I don't think it does. I haven't really tried, but you know, and it's just like crazy. It's crazy because, well, like, you're at a festival, so much stuff could go wrong. Like, a lot of people have been killed at festivals, usually by accident. Unless it's the Hells Angels, if you know what I'm talking about. But, it's just, like, it's dangerous. And being high at a festival, too, I don't know, I'm a very sober person, I guess. Like, I hardly even drink tea or coffee. But, you know, I enjoy the occasional edible. Even though I'm not... But, yeah. And now, where I'm going to university, you've got to be 21 to get edibles. Well, to get weed, and 19 to drink. Like, which of them usually has more disastrous consequences, huh? Like, it confounds me. It's just like stigma because, you know, isn't it like black people smoked weed in the US and so da-da-da. But also, like, I think weed's so much better because, one, it's not literal poison. Like, I think I heard a sort of metaphor at one point where it was like, did I talk about all this on my last video? I bet, or something recently. I don't know. But where weed has its effects by acting like it's a part of your body, or like something like that. Like, it's very, like, similar to what's in your body. Whereas alcohol is like the opposite, where it's like poison and totally separate. But yeah, I don't get it. I don't get that much joy out of being drunk. I mean, like, I've only done it a few times with friends, and have I really been drunk? I don't know. Very tipsy. That's what Jesse's told me. But, cry like a baby on a full moon night. That's one of the lyrics that are still going through my head from Child's Play. I think it's, I mean, it literally renders me sobbing. Well, almost sobbing, just crying. That's my favorite album now. Like, there's no other way. It's funny because it's like, what else do I have from 2021 in my music collection? I Don't Live Here Anymore by The War on Drugs and the other Alice, Phoebe Lou, and Strong Boy stuff. And that's it, I think. I don't know if there's anything else. Which is crazy, but it's on Apple Music, I guess, you could say, where I have an account. But yeah, it's... There are all these old boats. Strange boats. I'll slow down so I can get away from these people. Oh, I haven't seen them before. These sailboats. Oh, isn't my battery getting low? Well, like you see, I think, what I'm trying to say with, like, the tearing up and stuff was that how emotionally I've grown from, you know, in the last few years. Well, in the last year. It's crazy how much I've grown and matured. And weird to think that, I mean, you know, not to like toot my own horn, but like, I kind of hate that saying, but like, I went to the library a week ago, 2 weeks ago, and on my way back there was just this guy just like shouting at his phone. He was like, "Stop fucking calling me!" And like actually like, not screaming, but like shouting and groaning and like totally out loud. Like, you know, he's got some serious like mental issues. Well, yeah, that and like emotional, like not much maturity or control. Just the way he was acting. Even if just like literally overhearing him talking to his phone. But it's weird to think I'm like already, like a lot of people don't have what I've got. But, you know. And watching, I call it FY Island, but F-Boy Island. Which is an amazing reality TV show. I Was a Squirrel, if you heard that wrestling. Where it's like, I haven't watched Love Island, but it's like kind of a self-conscious semi-parody of it. Like, it's serious, but it's also really not, you know. And what was I talking about? I don't know. But it's why did I oh yeah, emotions. It's like a lot of the men there are just like you know, they're self-proclaimed F-boys or self-proclaimed nice guys. And the F-boys like get to keep all the money and the nice guys get to share it. And they're all there for the romantic connection. But they're all there for the money, because, you know, it's a fucking reality TV show. And they all look like, you can only tell by like, I think it's like how they treat the women, either as like human beings or as people to play. And it's, you know, goodness. But they all like look the same, they're all like muscly. They all look like F-boys pretty much. Most of them. But a great show. But it's just like, I don't know. They don't do things at all how I do them. And so I try and like use that as like, oh, he's being nice and like respectful and pleasant and the conversation's going well. He's not like doing any of the classic F-boy things, but then like immediately like gets out of the pool with her where they were kissing, and then starts like saying it was just like playing or like, okay, and like goes home and like calls her like a kissing booth. So like, path. I kind of forgot about that, but it exists. There's like a concrete thing they built that goes around here. But this is just like the nature trail. And boy, low battery. Yeah. Also, I think I might as well just, you know, come out, I guess. But I think I'm trans. I haven't really begun, but it's like, you know, I really wasn't sure for the last few months if I wanted to use the word trans. I'm still not exactly sure which thing I identify as, like if it's non-binary or whatever. It's not gender fluid, because I don't move from one to the other. I'm always just me. But I guess I should keep looking into it. And but you know, there've always been like little signs here and there, like there were, you know, the ones with being asexual were like bigger and more obvious, even though, which is I guess why I kind of discovered it much longer before this. But, it's like, I'm not really a man. I don't know, I've never felt like a man. Like, you know, I am one, I guess, but it's like I don't, like, none of the manly things are like things that really appeal to me, but like, I'm not feminine. But I'm trying to be like more, whoa, tugboats move fast. Okay. But and I'm trying to, like, I think, no, I want to be more androgynous. And I've always found people to look really aesthetically pleasing. Or, well, aesthetically attractive or nice or whatever. Women especially when they're wearing, like, more guy clothes. So, you know, that's one sign. But it's, you know, it is... I haven't... You know, I've, like, thought, like, do I belong under the name trans or whatever, but, you know, it's open to me. My gender experience probably isn't a lot like most average men's. Not that it's been, like, too crazy, but, you know, little subtle things here and there. But, yeah. That's the T. What is it? Little B? No. But, yeah, it's that. And then, I might as well just, you know, let all the cats out of the bags. I'm bi-romantic, I'm pretty sure. But, and asexual, and trans to non-binary, I guess. Alright, died. Right there, but it's got a pretty shifty battery, so it like gets little bits back all the time. But I mean, luckily it cut that last bit, and then the lens retracted, so I know it shut off. And so yeah, that's what I am, I guess. Well, what are you? I think I'll close out this video. I guess I might as well. It's what it is. Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye bye. Haha. Toodaloo. So, people listening to music on walks, I used to do it all the time, but, you know, it's very nice to, like, hear the world, in touch with, you know, nature, and, like, hearing the birds, seeing the trees and everything. Heron!